Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, wherever you are in the world. Welcome along to another walk through the forest today. I'm hoping that the wind isn't going to show up too much. I had to take a couple of days off because the wind has been absolutely howling and there was nowhere I could film that wasn't noisy. So excuse my hiatus for a short period while I had to take a break for the wind, basically. How many people can say that? They have to stop doing their thing because of wind. Probably more of us than we'll readily admit. But welcome along. Great to have you here for my another walk through the forest. And today I'm going to take us in a slightly different direction. I had in my days off where I was sitting at home with my children doing our home education and what have you. I had a chance to had a bit of a think, a bit of a contemplate about who I am, and I've actually been asked. Someone asked me not too long ago, who are you? Who are you to be up on your soapbox doing your videos and talking about these subjects that you talk about? Who are you and what makes you so important? What makes your voice so important? My response was, well, it's not, obviously. My voice is no more important than anybody else's. But I'm putting my voice out there for a very specific reason, is because there are many people that are asking questions right now, and if I can put my voice out there and perhaps other people will agree, then we can agree and we can join together to have a bit of solidarity in these tough times. And it also led me to the point of the discussion we're going to have today. Who am I? Who are you? So in my couple of days of contemplating, I also watched another video where a gentleman, I've spoke about his channel before. He talks about a range of different subjects as well. Very well educated man, very well read. He spoke about explaining the universe in an apple. Now, I'm going to borrow a part of it. Most of it is a little bit too far beyond me to try and explain it, but I'm going to borrow part of that talk today and talk about who I am, who you are, and our belief systems, if you like. Now, we are. Who are we? Who are we really? Who am I? Who are you? It's a tough question to answer, and philosophy's been trying to do that forever and a day. Who are you? Why are we here? All those kind of questions, philosophical questions. So who are we really? Now, if you're a religious person, you follow a faith. Generally, I'm going to generalize. That's what I do. Generally, faith has a belief in a God, one God. And people would argue and say, well, the Hindus don't believe in one God. Hindus don't believe in one God. It's multiple gods. And back in ancient Roman times, they used to believe in more than one God, a god of the sea and a god of the sky and a god of war. But ultimately, there is one God, regardless of what your religious affiliation is, your religious belief system. You believe in God, that God created all things. Now, I'll go by the Catholic Christian text for this talk, but you'll see the crossovers, whatever your religious belief is, that you'll see there's many crossovers with what I'm talking about with the Catholicism and Christianity. Now, we're told that God is always has been, always will be, is all powerful. The Alpha Omega is the one. The God is the one. Everything is part of God. Everything comes from God, and all creation came through God. Everything is from one God source. Now, if you're into spirituality, it's much the same. It's you're talking about universal consciousness. You are talking about the one. We are all one. We're all joined as one. So you can see the crossovers there already. Now, I'm already hearing people say, but I believe in science. It's a religion, but we're not going to dwell on that today. Now, what does science tell us? Everything came from a big bang, right, the beginning of the universe, and everything created came from that one spot. What's that one spot called? Singularity. It's another word for singularity. The one. Interesting, don't you think? Now, anybody who's watched any of my videos knows I have a penchant for the movie The Matrix, and what does Morpheus say to Neo? You are the one. You are the one, Neo. And you have to choose to be the one. And then when Neo goes to see the Oracle and she says, nobody can tell you you're the one, you just know it, balls to bones. And it is coming down to that knowing. Which brings us back to the apple and the apple seed. Now, are you the one? Are you the representation of God on this earth? Or are you the one? Are you truly recognizing your potential? Now, in this talk that this gentleman gave the other day, he talked about an apple. Now, you see the apple is, if you imagine that the apple is like the universe, okay? Now, like I say, I'm only going to borrow portions of this because it was, for me to try and explain it the way he did, it was very, very good. I urge you all to go and have a look. It was his channel was in the description of the last video I did about the Tesla patents. Have a go and have a look at it. He does one about the Earth explained, or the universe explained as an apple. So what he says is basically, you have an apple, represents the universe, okay? Now, inside that apple, you have a seed, right? And that seed is potentiality. That seed is potential, which is you. You have the potential to be anything that you want to do and be. But then it takes actualization. You have to do something in order to fulfill that potential. Now, we are all, this is when you're talking about Christianity and Catholicism and religion, and it talks about free will, God, the universe, universal consciousness, the singularity, whatever you want to call it, doesn't matter at all. Everyone believes the same thing. Whether you're a scientist or whether you're a God-fearing person, you all believe the same thing. I mean, you don't even realize it. People in science especially not there. Oh, no, I don't believe in that religion garbage. Well, you might not believe in a religious practice, but you still believe in the one. Okay, and everything came from the one. Now, if we hold this to be true, right, whether you're religious or whether you're scientific or whatever, spiritualist or however you define yourself, we all come from the same source. All of us. So we are all part of this tree. The tree is part of us. We are part of the universe. We are part of the stars. The stars are born of us. Everything comes from the same place. Whether you believe in a God or whether it's the singularity, it's the same thing. It is the one. You are part of the one, much the same as I am. We are linked. We are joined. We are all part of that same system that comes from the one source. You get me so far? Now, in this apple, in the apple that represents the universe, toroidal. This is why you go into the toroidal. I'm going to be doing a video about that at a later date. The toroidal energy field. It's really, really amazing. Long story, but I'm not going to get into that today. But the apple representing the toroidal energy field of the universe, folding back on itself, and inside is the seed, the potential. Now, that seed has the potential to grow another apple tree, which has potential to produce another fruit, with the potential to produce more seeds. Okay, so it's potential. There's always potential harnessed in everything, including you, including me, including everything. But it's the actualization of that potential that makes it whether you are the one or what. We all have our part to play. That's what it comes down to. So it is the actualization of that potential that makes it whether you're playing your role or whether you're not. Now, we, as humans, if that's what we want to call ourselves, we each get to decide our part here. Now, do we want to be in a situation where we're constantly pointing the finger at somebody else and saying it's their fault that I can't do, or it's his fault, or it's her fault, or it's their fault, or the government's to blame, or whatever? Or do we take responsibility and say, I take responsibility for me? And that's a hard road to walk when you're standing up and you're saying, I'll take responsibility for me. Then you can't pass the buck on to somebody else. and taking responsibility for yourself is not easy. It's a very, very hard road to walk. In these times, and this is why I'm speaking about this particular talk now, in the times that we find ourselves in, where we're having to give ourselves over to authoritarian voices, authoritative news sources, as we're told, we're having to give ourselves away in order just to get by. So it robs us of our potentiality. But it robs us not only of our potentiality, but our actualization as well. Because how do you actively go out and do something when you're told you can't actively do anything? It's a conundrum that we're walking in, and it is cutting down human potential by not allowing you to realize it. Now, more and more of us are questioning the narrative that we're being told every day. And we're questioning why these things have to happen. We're questioning, ridiculous statements by politicians and people in an authoritative position. And it's that questioning that is the actualization of our potential. Because if we just blindly believe what we're told, we blindly believe, that these people have our best interests at heart, then we're robbing ourselves of that potential. And we're robbing ourselves of that ability to choose for ourselves what is important for us. Now, we have to get to a point where we stand and say, I'm responsible for me. I don't want the government to be in my place. I don't want the government to be looking after my safety and my security. All I want is to be able to go about my day and make the most of my life. But at the moment we can't. And why is that? Why is it that we're caught in this position where we are not allowed to make decisions for ourselves? Now, I've spoken about it before, where we have to go through these periods, and it's a horrible period, where we have to go through these periods where where we have these things that are thrust upon us that make us make a choice. Okay, this is where we are right now. Up until now, we've just sort of gone along to get along. Everything's fine. Everyone's comfortable. And no one makes decisions when they're comfortable. No one makes uncomfortable decisions when they're comfortable. They only make them when they're pressured, when they have to make a decision, as we all do. So now we've got to a point of discomfort, and we have to make a decision about what we're going to do. So what is that? What are we going to do? Are we going to continue to give our choice away to a governing body? Or do we take control of our own lives and decide what's best for us? And I'm not talking about collectively, I'm talking about individually. The collectivism comes after. But we need to make decisions about what's important for us. Am I worried about my health? Of course not. I do things to keep myself healthy. I take vitamins, I have good food, eat lots of vegetables, go for exercise every day, laugh, enjoy my life, I don't need a mother. I left home when I was 15 years old. I started working when I was 15. I don't need a nanny state to take care of me. I don't drink, I don't smoke. I make decisions for me that are best for me. And we all have to make those decisions. But now we're being robbed of those. We have to get to a point where we can make those decisions for ourselves and be comfortable and confident making those decisions. Now, if we continue to give away our power, if we continue to give away our right to choose what's best for us, where does that road lead us? Are we still in control of ourselves? Do we still have the right to choose? Now I hear people say, well, we have a vote. That's our right to choose right there, is our vote. But is our vote really a right to choose? We saw what happened in America with their election. Many questions that have gone unanswered. And then that brings you back to, well, how fair is your choice? Are you being given all the information that you need to make a choice? And if not, why not? Now, we've been slowly told over many years that God is dead, religion is dead, or and I understand many of the arguments. I can. We see Catholic priests being tried and convicted of the most heinous crimes against children, but they're still not punished. We see politicians doing the same, committing crimes left, right and centre, but still not punished. There's no accountability. The systems that have served us, or are supposed to have served us, no longer serve us. And these times that we're living in right now are supposed to highlight that to us, rather than us constantly giving away our rights and abilities to make decisions. They're being taken away more and more, to the point where we lose that freedom to help us to wake up, to help us to realise that we all have the potential, but we have to activate it, and we have to actualise that potential into something. Otherwise, that will all it will ever be is unrealised potential. So, while these times that we're living through are very, very tough, and they're not easy to take, and it's mentally and physically draining, there's some good that can come out of this. And that good can be that we, as people, start to recognise our potential and start to act on it, and take back control from the authorities and the people that are trying to exert authoritative control over us. And what does that look like? It's for you to choose. As always, I in the whole scheme of things, I don't expect anyone to listen to me and what I say, my advice, or what I'm saying is my opinion. And you have your own opinion about how things should be as well. But this is how I see it. How are we going to act? What are we going to do? What's responsibility are we going to take for ourselves, knowing, regardless of your religious belief or scientific belief, that other religion, that you are part of this, of the whole, everything, the universe, consciousness, whatever you want to call it. You are an equal part, just like everybody else is. So we each have to come to that understanding about who we are, what we can do, what we can bring. I've been very vocal about what I think, as my opinion. But I personally think that we need to come together and stand against oppressive and authoritative regimes telling us how we should live. Now that crosses every single border I can possibly think of, in terms of we're talking about climate change, we're talking about how we react to that. If you allow me to spread it just that little bit further and say, the very people that are telling us we need to change are the people who have created the problem in the first place. So Hegelian dialectic, I think it's called, which is the problem, reaction, solution. Create the problem and then say, don't worry, we've got a solution, and then bring out the solution. Now they know that because they've created the problem in the first place. So they're actually creating a solution to a problem that they created, so they can make money out of it and create and take more power. Same as what's happening with the virus. It's a power grab. But as I say, we each and all have the power to make up our minds about how we feel about it, what we're going to do about it. So, what are you? Are you the potential? Are you the apple seed sitting inside a nice warm fruit that's just going to sit there and be a seed? Or are you going to stand and recognize your potential and actualize it and take part? Be part of this world, be part of this creative force, be part of this creative energy that can actually turn the corner in the way that humanity is going, create something far better than what we've had. With the technology that exists right now, hence the last video. We're at a unique and wonderful time. Of course, it's stressful because all change is stressful. But we're at a unique and amazing time in our species, if you like, of our world, of our universe, of our consciousness, that we can progress. But we all have to take control and take part in it. Otherwise, you can't complain about the result. What kind of world do you want to live in? Do you want to live in a world where we're constantly relying on authoritative sources, or authoritative figures who are more often than not acting in their own best interest rather than the people they're supposed to serve? Or do we take the power back and make choices for ourselves and our communities and our loved ones? I know which way I'm going. You have to choose for yourself. You can be the seed or you can be the tree. Which do you want to be? I know where I am. I am the one. And you can be too if you choose to be. And that's it. That's it. That's the whole story. The apple, the universe. It's amazing. All right, well, I hope you liked today's little walk and talk. It's very windy now. I do apologise for the wind. But join me again soon. I will be, as I say, I'll be doing some more reading over the next sort of coming days and weeks to try and explain as best I can the toroidal energy field and how the numbers 1, 2, 4, 8, 7, 7, 5, 1, and 3, 6, and 9 mean. Long story, but if I can pull it off, it'll all make perfect sense. And on that note, I hope you enjoyed today. I mean, it is beautiful here. I hope it's as beautiful where you are. Go out there, spread some love, and be the one. Because if you recognize it or not, it doesn't matter whether you recognize it or not, but you can change the world with your actions. Do good, be good, go out there and share some love. I look forward to seeing you real soon. Take care. Bye.